and welcome back to Let's Face It podcast. I am your host Rachel Lanita Kamake kama kawaida. Super excited, super happy to have you guys on my show. I'm seeing every single one of you, the likes, the subscription, the comments. Oh my gosh, like I can say one thing and it goes multiple ways, but I'm very excited because these are basically my views and my opinions, and getting your views and your opinions make us both grow better and enhance each other and nurture each other, and it's such a beautiful thing to experience. Thank you guys for coming to my show, and you can always kama kawaida, call me Anita anytime, anywhere, baby. My DMs are always open, my comment section, everything is always open for you guys to engage with me. On today's episode of Let's Face It podcast, I want us to ask ourselves this question that has been going around for the longest time. And this being the International Women's Month, I wanted to know, for any woman out there, or for any man actually, between career versus marriage, which one is much more important, and which one should we pursue more, and which one should we put more effort into in our daily lives? So more often than not, I've had this quote fly around, and it was during the Women's Day, actually, on 8th March, that someone was on TV saying, your career will never leave you, but a man will leave you, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I know, people always say, choose your career, it will never wake up and leave you. Excuse me. My version of that statement is, choose your money, it equals to your safety. But again, what really matters is what makes you happy, okay? At the end of the day, for women, it's not just an automatic choice, as we are natural nurturers, and our unique state in our feminine self is to be more calm, more into the relationship, and more into the homemaking, and more into that. But why do we have to choose when we can have both? Really, why do we have to choose when you can have both? In hindsight, both career and marriage are important and necessary. You cannot really cancel one while encouraging the other, or canceling the other while, vice versa. Family is the basic structure for the society, and we cannot just wake up and say we don't need family anymore, we're good with our jobs. No, at the end of the day, we need someone to pat our back to say we've done a good job. We need someone to encourage us, to support us, to be there with us, because there are things that even our jobs can't do for us, guys. But again, with the financial security and the freedom of choices that comes with having a job, it is quite, it is a very hard thing to balance and to do. So as much as the meaning and the idea of family has been tweaked over the years, this has made women, if you can't have like a man or a partner who fully provides for you, who gives you everything you need, you have to go out there and look for yourself. And with the rise of single parents, single women, baby mamas out there trying to fend for themselves, it comes as a no-brainer that career will take the front lead in this. And I am not judging. Again, my space is a free space. There's no judging, there's nothing. But when it comes to that big old question of between career and marriage, which one is more important, our innate nature is to be loved, to be needed, to be appreciated, and all that. And with this comes very many questions we need to ask ourselves before going into this. Like, number one, at what age? At different ages, people have different priorities. You can't be 18. Okay, no offense. You can find love at any point in time, and above 18 though, you can find your career. Again, you can reinvent yourself at any point in time and still pursue what makes you happy. Our choice of either career or partner greatly influences who we become. Like they say, who you marry influences your success. The people, if you get some of the most successful men I know will tell you 100% it's because of the woman I married. That woman supported me and this and that. But for a woman, can you say the same thing about your men? If you're successful. And sadly, when this happens, when women become more successful, they tend to get more divorced and mostly single. It's very hard to find a woman who's very successful and still in a marriage, because sometimes balancing these things, at the end of the day, like I say, marriage takes a lot from a woman. Marriage takes so much of your time, it takes so much of your effort, and there are things that as much as you will delegate, even if you have 20 nannies and 30 house helps and 20 chefs in your house, there are things that you as the woman of the house still has to do and has to get done. In the younger years, let's say from in your 20s, early 20s, it is vital to have a proper plan for one's future. This is, in my opinion, before getting married, because I believe the brain fully develops at 25 for anybody, and any wedding below 25, sometimes it's a risky thing to take. But again, who am I? You find love at any point and you move on. But at your younger years, you need to be more set about your path in life. You need to know, this is what I want to do. And there's nothing that asks me so much like people, not only women, even men, who have given up on their own dreams and values to support the other partner. Then it goes like very badly. You find someone was like, probably there's this thing, after high school, then your partner maybe was called to an international university in another country, but they give up that opportunity so that they can hang out with you and stay here, and then it builds up resentment. It builds up resentment for no reason at all. So this is what I'm saying. At some point, you have to choose. You have to choose in your younger years if you really want to do your career or your marriage. But at the end of the day, both of these things are important, and both in face value are ultimately almost equal. Again, in this sense, if you're married and have nothing to do, no hobby, you don't have any pastime, you don't have anywhere to, like, you're literally like a, sorry for this choice of word, vegetable, waiting on your partner to give you some source of joy and some source of, excitement in your life, resentment builds up. Resentment always builds up when you see your partner pursuing the goals, becoming the person they want you to be, yet you can't do the same thing for yourself. This is why it is important to know the person you are getting married to, the person who is in your life. Do they support your goals? Do they understand your goals? Do they know what you want to do in life? Because you cannot, I genuinely, for me, I never understand people who just don't have anything to do. Like, literally nothing, nada, zero. What makes you happy? What excites you when you wake up in the morning? What do you say, this is what I want to do today and this is what I want to achieve? So again, like I mentioned before, financial independence is an important factor. Well, to myself, I always say, when you have the money, you have a lot of options and freedoms on what to do. You dictate how someone can handle you and other things. But whether single or not, as a person, you should be able to take care of your needs. And that's what I'm saying. You have to learn how. It's a very tricky balance to have between your career and your marriage. But no one has said it's not possible, because if it was not possible, there wouldn't be any marriages left, okay, or any careers. Financial stress is one of the leading causes of divorces anywhere in the world. But how do you prevent this? Because you have to have a passion. You cannot be sitting there, someone is dictating everything up to the last penny of how you use your time and money. It's very difficult. It's very resentful, and again, I can imagine, like I was saying, for instance, I can say, let me take my marriage for instance. We have to know what our partners are doing. We have to learn how to, even if your partner is like the biggest CEO, the biggest everything, they're doing everything, things do happen. People do lose their lives. People do get into accidents. There's nothing. Tomorrow is usually not promised at all. I can tell you, for instance, my husband imports cars. You can check Genius Setter, Jesus. You can check Genius Setter Motors on Gigi and online everywhere. And you can get, he's a direct importer, and funny enough, I know everything about his business. I know how the dollar rate, girls, ladies, you cannot be in a relationship and you don't know how the dollar rate is affecting your relationship. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry for sounding corny in this, but I know everything from how the dollar rate affects import business. I know who to call for engine parts. I know who to call for paint. I know literally things that maybe I shouldn't be knowing. But this, if anything ever happens to my husband, I can take over the business and still run the family. And this is something I'm trying to say. You have to bring value to both your marriage and your career. If you're not bringing value, hakuna mtu atakutaka. No one will want to have, baggage. A true partner will not hold you back. That is one thing. and they will support your dreams and goals with as much valor as their own. A true partner will not see it as a burden that you're going to work, will not see it as a burden that maybe you cannot handle one or two things, especially for women at home, and you're getting someone else to do that as you pursue this and that. You have, with the right person, they will never ask you to quit on your dreams. Instead, they will cheer you on, support you, and celebrate your successes every step of the way. And that is what I'm trying to build: healthy relationships, supportive relationships, and happy relationships at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, it boils down to choices that are an elaborate accumulation of experiences. I don't think either of the two, in my opinion, is much more important than the other. But as one gets aligned with their goals and values, they have to get this centered, unbiased look of their life to make a better decision. Like I say, we only say choose your career, it will never leave you. But trust you me, how many people do you know who just get fired overnight? Like, this funny example, like, look at Matiang'i right now, guys. That guy used to talk and we shake. Right now, he's just there being harassed by the government left, right, and center, and there's not so much you can do about it. So yes, your career can fumble. You can get fired overnight and lose years of work. But at the end of the day, even marriages also fail with lack of proper communication, trust, and respect. At any point, things can fall apart. So this is when you sit down and ask yourself, what really matters to me? What really is important to me? And how can I make this work? So none of these things, in my opinion, is more important than the other. But it is how we look at it, how we want to frame it, how we want to see it, and what makes us happy. At the end of the day, if you're in a situation that does not make you happy, honey, there's no point of staying there. Just move it. So once again, let me know what you think. Is career more important than marriage? Is marriage more important than career? Please comment and share views below. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, save, and all that stuff across all the platforms. Thank you guys for supporting me and everything. Until next time, toodles.